I never pictured myself as the kind of woman who would make a choice like this. If someone had told me a year ago that I betrayed a man I loved, the man I had promised to spend my life with, I would have laughed in disbelief. Yet life has a way of yanking the ground out from beneath you, even when you think you're standing on something steady. What I did changed everything, and there's no undoing it. My name is Rachel. I'm 33 years old, married, and on paper, my life looks enviable. A comfortable house in the Denver suburbs, a secure job, 2 wonderful children, and a husband, Mark, who has always been dependable, responsible, and, if I'm honest, a little predictable. When Mark and I first met, his maturity swept me off my feet. While I was still trying to figure out my place in the world, he already had his together. That stability felt safe, and I clung to it. We married 2 years later, welcomed our children soon after, and then life simply settled into its rhythm. Somewhere along the way, the fire between us dimmed. We stopped being passionate partners and became more like teammates in the business of raising a family. It wasn't that Mark was unkind, unfaithful, or neglectful as a father, but he wasn't there, at least not in the way I needed. He was always tired, focused on bills, or repairing something around the house. Date nights disappeared. Our conversations revolved around the kids, chores, and money. I missed feeling noticed. I missed being desired. That's when he appeared. Tyler was the newest addition to my office, a man about 5 years younger, brimming with charisma and an easy charm. His energy was magnetic. He had a way of looking at you that made you feel like you were the only person in the room. It began innocently. Playful banter in the break room, trading music playlists, laughing over lunch. Then one evening, we both stayed late to wrap up a project. The building was empty. One glass of wine from the office mini fridge turned into a moment I can never erase. He kissed me, and I kissed him back. It wasn't just a kiss. It was the rush that came with it. In that moment, I felt awake for the first time in years, like someone had flipped a switch in a room I'd been stumbling through in the dark. That single kiss opened a door I hadn't realized I'd been staring at for months. And once it was open, I didn't close it. What followed were a series of after-hours meetings that had little to do with work. I convinced myself I had reasons. Mark was emotionally absent. I was lonely. I wasn't in love with Tyler, but I was addicted to the way he made me feel alive. The guilt didn't hit me all at once. It crept in quietly, seeping into the spaces between moments. It was there when Tyler left my apartment, in the warm hugs from my children, in the mornings when Mark handed me coffee and kissed my forehead, never realizing that I wasn't the same woman he thought he knew. One night, after the kids were in bed, Mark looked at me and asked, "Are you happy?" That simple question cracked something inside me. I wanted to cry, to confess everything, but I lied. I told him I was just tired. That's when I learned the cruelest part of cheating isn't the act itself. It's the silence. It's waking up every day and choosing to wear the mask, to pretend to be the person your partner still believes you are. Weeks later, Tyler told me he was thinking of quitting. He said he didn't want to make my life more complicated. Whether it was guilt or his way of bowing out, I'll never know. When he left, I didn't stop him. And just like that, the affair was over. But my guilt wasn't. I thought ending it would bring relief, that I could go back to the way things were. But I had changed. What I'd done had fractured something in my marriage and in myself that I didn't know how to repair. So why am I telling this? Because I know there are people who feel the way I did, trapped in the slow fading of a marriage that once felt like home, aching for affection, desperate to be seen. Those feelings are real, but this choice, the one I made, is not the answer. I wish I had talked to Mark, pushed harder for intimacy, tried therapy, taken time alone to figure out what I was missing. Anything but what I did. Because now, even though the affair is over, the damage remains. Mark still doesn't know, not officially, but I think he senses it. There's a quiet distance between us now, a tension that hovers even when we smile in front of kids. Every day, I consider telling him, bracing for fallout. But then I see our children, our life, and I freeze. I cross a line I never thought I'd cross. I regret it with everything in me, but regret doesn't undo reality. There's no way back. The only question now is whether a way forward still exists.